Welcome to AASHTO Resource Q&A. We're taking time to discuss construction materials testing and inspection with people in the know. From exploring testing problems and solutions to laboratory best practices and quality management, we're covering topics important to you.
Welcome to AASHTO Resource Q&A. I'm Brian Johnson.
And I'm Kim Swanson, and we are here with the Season 5 recap episode. You've waited all season for this. I know you have.
That's right. We're gonna wrap it up. This is our Season 5 finale. So it's our shortest season. If you remember, at the beginning of the season, we talked about what we're changing. So we used to do it every week.
Yeah.
Then we switched to every 2 weeks. And honestly, that has proven to be a lot to keep up with as well. So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah, no, we may have to shake things up again. Continual improvement is the name of the game. So we would love your feedback, listeners. If you want to tell us what you liked about this season or what you didn't, or if you've been a long-time listener, first-time caller situation, definitely let us know what we can do better or what you liked about previous seasons that we didn't do this season. And you can email us at podcast@ashtoresource.org. Still very underutilized email address.
Could not be less underutilized, really.
Yeah.
Although we did get one email,
We did,
I think,
and we appreciate that. We do appreciate that. Thank you.
So much. We love hearing anything about it.
Yes.
I guess before we go on, Kim, where can people find the old episodes?
Oh, our old episodes are still out. We don't hide that information from anybody. So you can get them on all your podcast directories. They're there. You can find it at podcast.ashtoresource.org, or if you go on our website, ashtoresource.org, and under the Re-University section, we have videos and podcasts and articles and documents and everything there under the Re-University section of our website. And we're on YouTube. Sorry, throwing that in there.
That's right. If you want to see us with our exciting background,
yes,
you can find us on YouTube. And I did want to give Kim a compliment. She spends a lot of time working on not just putting the podcast edits together, but also adding supplemental information that kind of helps to take you beyond just the content of the podcast and learn more about whatever we're talking about. So there will be on our Re-University page under the episodes, you can find other supporting documentation that gives you more information about whatever the topic we are covering is. So Kim, good job with that. I think it really adds to the overall presentation and it can really help people find more information.
Thank you. And this season, we also did some companion articles for most of the episodes this year. They previously were only for the common finding ones, but this year we kind of had a supplemental article about what the episode was about if you were a reader and not a listener.
Yeah, that's really good. And it probably helps people find the episodes too,
Yes.
I would guess, with that the words on the internet.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the highlights of the season. So we started with a revamp, but we got into our strategic roadmap discussion in the second episode. And then we kind of took it from there and got into some individual interviews with people. So we got one of our favorite friends of AASHTO Resource, Benjamin Trujillo, who's been a longtime participant in the AASHTO Resource Technical Exchange, helped us out on episode 4. And recently, Bryce Hanlon on episode 14 from the Oklahoma DOT. And we had Matt Lineman from North Dakota DOT talking about comp and being a volunteer among the DOT people to try to build a positive working environment with the AASHTO committees and really any kind of committees you might be involved with.
I think I wanted to ask you what your favorite memory or your favorite moment from the podcast season was this year.
And maybe this is just the that phenomenon where the recency
bias.
Recency bias.
Yes.
But I think that our conversation with Bryce was my favorite episode of the season. He's always great to talk to, and it was just an easy conversation. And I always like talking to him, and like we told him, we may every year have to have his performance review on the podcast, and
Yes.
I think even if we did even less episodes, we would probably want to see what Bryce is up to.
Yeah, I think we're going to be checking in with Bryce for a while. That is always a good episode. I do like that. That was a good one as well. For me, and this is a slightly self-serving, but it just makes me laugh. The 4 eyes of the corrective action process just makes me chuckle every time I see it. So that one kind of stood out to me from that episode when we were talking about corrective action and the 4 eyes, and that was just it's humorous to me. So that was one of my favorite. Not to diminish any of our guests, because I do love all the episodes with the guests, but that one for me stuck out in my head, or stand
Yeah,
out, stuck out.
Stan
I don't
stood out.
either. Stood out. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, stood out is the correct way for that one.
I think so. And you were dipping your toe in a bit of the quality theory pool
Yes.
in that one, so it was a little bit of a departure from your normal
Yes.
specialties. So yeah, that was a good one. And I like anytime we have external guests, those are usually
Hmm.
some of my favorite episodes because I love hearing about what other people think about and their challenges and their work. It's kind of like a nice little break from my own
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
which we cover a lot on the
Yeah.
podcast. Like I feel like one of the things that I enjoy about the podcast is it gives me a chance to get things off my chest in a semi-productive manner. So I can get some information out to people, and hopefully they'll listen to it, maybe even 5 minutes of it, and maybe they'll get some takeaway that can help them uh, in their day.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know either. And we don't know unless you tell us. So, listeners, please email us at podcast@ashtoresource.org. We have numbers saying people are downloading and listening, but some personal feedback would be amazing on that. So, thank you in advance.
Yeah,
We're going to get flooded after this episode. I know
I
that email address is just going to be flooded.
I hope so because what we really need to do is figure out if what we're doing is useful to people, right?
Hmm.
So like I'll hear conversations from people at a meeting that, hey, I love this episode on whatever it is, and I kind of make a mental note of where that person is, and then I go back and look at the data, and I'm like, I don't see anybody from that area that downloaded. I only can see city and state, so they
Yeah.
might have been somewhere else when it happened.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm just like, so we're missing something in the data. And if we could hear from people about what they want to hear about or what they've enjoyed or what was useful to them, that would help us figure out what we want to do for season 6. So like if you're thinking about sending us a message, fire away.
Yes.
We love to get feedback at AASHTO Resource on all kinds of things.
Hmm.
And we do get a lot of feedback on our programmatic items, but
Oh,
not
yeah.
so much on the podcast. So I'd love to hear more from people about it.
Yeah, again, it's a continual improvement for us and for laboratories, right? So we want to make sure, or specifiers or the public or whoever is listening, it would be really interesting if you are not in the construction materials testing industry and you're listening to this podcast, please email me because I want to have a conversation with you
I would
about
love that.
what are you doing with your life that this is what you're listening to and what market are we reaching? That's what I want to know. But I'm going to
Yes.
say most of our listeners are probably currently in the industry or actually existing customers of ours.
I think so. And I also wonder about our international
Hmm.
downloaders.
Hmm.
Are those VPNs or are those people? I don't know.
I know
But I
we
would
have a couple. I've had some conversations in past seasons, email conversations, not actual conversations,
Mhm.
with a person from Ukraine and then somewhere in the
Oh,
continent
somebody
of
from Kenya.
Kenya. Thank you. I couldn't remember what country in Africa, but yes. So I
Yes.
do know they exist. They're out there.
Well, we'd love to hear from them. So drop
Hmm.
us a line. Helps us determine whether we should make more of these or not.
Yeah.
So
Is the juice worth the squeeze, so
is
to
it?
speak? That's one of my favorite sayings. And yeah, and we can't know that until we hear from you.
That's right.
Because I like doing this. I have some data supporting that we should continue to do it, but actual conversations with people are going to be what helps us, I think.
I think so too. So think about it. We'd love to hear from you. And I hope you check out our season 5 and even some of the past seasons on our
All of the past
website or
seasons.
YouTube or
Some of the past seasons. Go back to
all of them are
all
gold.
of them. All of them are A plus.
Maybe not
A
gold.
plus. They're all A plus. You will notice if your first season is season 5, we did like 40 plus episodes per season for seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah. So there's a lot more information out there in past seasons. But again, thanks for joining us for season 5. And hopefully we hear from you and we know we can start planning what to do for season 6.
Yeah, and if you want to see us in person or see me in person, I will be at the Technical Exchange in Bellevue, Washington in March. Check out our events page on the website. What is it, 17th through the
20th?
20th. I'll be having some panel discussions, some presentations, and I'll just be around in general. And I'll probably be recording some stuff that we can use on future episodes.
Yes, I would love that. But thank you to our listeners who've made it through season 5 with us. And we are taking a hiatus due to the Technical Exchange. So we will hopefully be back after that. TBD on when we will be back, just because schedules are rough and it's hard to coordinate. So be on the lookout for season 6 at some point. And again, hopefully you can see us at the Technical Exchange, March 17th through the 20th in 2025 in Bellevue, Washington. You can go to ashtoresource.org/events for more information.
All right. Bye, everybody. And Kim, I'll see you in several months when we convene again, since we never talk to each other outside of the podcast.
Pretty much. I'll see you on the flip side. Thanks for listening to AASHTO Resource Q&A. If you'd like to be a guest or just submit a question, send us an email at podcast@ashtoresource.org or call Brian at 240-436-4820. For other news and related content, check out AASHTO Resource's social media accounts or go to ashtoresource.org.